Now, this is the report that I read, and it makes a lot of. This is from Cassandra Fairbanks. All right, and I've met her. She's been on our show. She's great. She works at the Gateway Pundit, and they cover a lot of stuff that most mainstream media doesn't want to cover. And I read this article, and I'm like, you know what? It makes sense. Everything that I've seen, comparing his, not even comparing, just looking at the history of the personality type that Joe Biden is, seeing him on the Senate floor talking all the way back into the 70s when he was asked, like, well, what do you want to do about, like, corrupt politicians? And his response was, how do you know I'm not corrupt? That's how he responded. That's his response. Well, don't assume that I'm not corrupt. What? You're basically saying you're corrupt? And this was in the beginning of his congressional, career, right? So now he already basically admitted he's corrupt. Then look at the racist comments that he's made, the weird creepiness that he's shown over and over and over again, that he carries in him. Then we got this. This report, Biden has a short fuse, goes on profanity-laced tirades at aides in the White House. Of course, this is a glorious picture of him just yelling. My goodness. Who's the dictator? Right, dictators, according to him, dictators rule by executive order. Only dictators do that. This was 2020, last year, a year ago, that he said this. Okay. Let's see. According to staff, the newspaper spoke over 24 current and former Biden staffers who painted a portrait of the president with a short fuse, who is obsessed with getting the details right, sometimes to a fault. The Times reports that avoiding Mr. Biden's ire during one of his decision-making seminars means not only going beyond the vague talking points that he will reject, but also steering clear of responses laced with acronyms and too much policies minutiae, which will prompt an outburst of frustration, often laced with profanity. Mr. Biden is gripped by a sense of urgency that leaves him prone to flares of impatience, according to numerous people who regularly interact with him. The report continues, the president has said he expects to run for a second term, but aides say he understands the effects on his ability to advance his agenda if Republicans regain power in Congress next year. They added in no uncertain terms that he will often snap. The report says Biden takes days or weeks to make up his mind as he examines and second guesses himself and others, and that it is a method of governing that can feel at odds with the urgency of a country still reeling from a pandemic and economy struggling to recover. 3 people who work closely with him even said he even occasionally hangs up the phone on someone who he thinks is wasting his time. I can totally picture that. Most described Mr. Biden as having little patience for advisors who cannot field his many questions, the New York Times wrote. The report paints a picture of an abusive boss who leaves his staff on eggshells. But hey, at least he's not Trump, right, liberals? Yeah, my mind is going back to the countless videos, and one in particular is that girl who's like, yeah, wait, maybe we can solve all these issues when a fascist isn't in charge. A fascist. She like makes it a point to say it. And it's like a fascist wouldn't have gotten voted out. Whether or not you believe what happened with the election, it's like a dictator, fascist, that wouldn't happen. Okay? A dictator, per President Joe Biden's own words, rules by executive order, which is exactly what he's doing. He's ruling by executive order. He's yelling at people who don't go along with whatever he's saying. He's basically all out threatening the American public. I've been posting about this for a few days now. He's been coming out vaxxed or masked. You wear a mask unless you get a vaccination. Oh, you're telling me, Joe Biden? You're threatening me? He's basically, you know what? Let me pull up this tweet. I wasn't going to pull it up, but you know what? I have to, because it's ridiculous. This dude is practically saying, you're not going to get your freedoms back until you get vaccinated. Here, this is his words right here. Let me pull this up. ultimately, so he's basically saying it's our fault. We'll pay the price if we're not vaccinated. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm healthy. Oh, there was no sound? Really? No sound? Hold on. I gotta play this for you guys. Why isn't there sound? Why isn't that playing the sound? All right. I'm sorry. I don't know why the sound isn't playing. It's just it's basically him saying, "Look, the vaccination, whoever's vaccinated, they'll be safe. And if no one's not, if you're not vaccinated, then you're gonna have to pay the price." It's like, what's the price? What is the price? What exactly are you saying? Now we got get vaccinated or wear a mask until you do. How are you gonna prove it to me? Oh, I just saw Carlin's spicy response. Go F yourself, Kamala. Jeez, Carlin, my goodness. Tim Young goes, are women allowed to remove their masks briefly to advance their career like you did? Oh my gosh, spicy Tim Young. Woo! My goodness. It's insane. What they're basically just saying, you're not going to get your freedoms back. Okay, excuse me? I'm free. I was free. I've been free this whole year. Okay? Hillary Clinton came out. What did she say? She said, hold on, I had to retweet that also. It's pretty simple. Get vaccinated. Get your life back. Yeah, I'm good. I've got my life. I'm healthy. I try to eat right. I try to be healthy. I'm not in the at risk bracket. I don't need it. I'm good. I'm just saying. Personally, okay, I'm not advocating for anyone to do what anything else. YouTube, talking to you. Don't get all your panties in Brussels, whatever the heck that line is. I don't know. Whatever. Tussled panties in a bunch. Whatever. I'm assuming they're going to get upset just because I'm saying I'm not interested. Okay? I have my life. I love my life. I don't need you, Hillary Clinton. Who are you even anyway right now? For me to listen to you. You're not a doctor. Okay? There's doctors that have said many different things that the mainstream powers that be have been banned outright because they were saying things that I believe in. And they've been banned. Why? What's up with that? It's pretty ridiculous. But let's go back to Biden. Okay? Go back to this man yelling and screaming. And then I'm going to bring up this website. 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's. Let's just break them down, right? And just, cross-reference, if you will. Memory loss that disrupts daily life. Forgetting events, repeating yourself, or relying on more aids to help you remember, like sticky notes or reminders or teleprompters. Sound familiar? Yeah, maybe. Challenges in planning or solving problems, having trouble paying bills or cooking recipes that you used to have, or second guessing yourself on different things that, you're trying to make policies and canceling your own arguments. Difficulty completing familiar tasks at home, or at work, or at leisure. No, I don't know how difficult he's got, but confusion with time or place, having trouble understanding an event that is happening later, or losing track of dates, or claiming that you joined the Senate 120 years ago when it was more about like 48 years. 120 years ago. What? You remember that? Back when I joined the Senate 120 years ago, like, okay, his dates are really wrong. Let's see here. Trouble understanding visual images or spatial relations. Oh, like going upstairs, having more difficulty with balance or judging distance, tripping over things at home, or spilling or dropping things more often. Like Tripping upstairs. It was windy that day. It was windy. Okay, well, he could have just stopped and caught himself. Yeah. Right. New problems with words in speaking or writing, having trouble following or joining a conversation, or struggling to find a word you are looking for. Saying that thing on your wrist that tells time instead of watch. Oh, the thing. Sound familiar? Right. True and under pressure. Or whatever the heck. There's so many options. But true and under pressure is probably my favorite one. Or, the thing. Like, the thing? You mean God? Is that what you're trying? We're all created equal under God? How hard is that to remember? God. The thing. What? You forgot the word God? Huh? Is that what he forgot? I believe it is. Yeah, ridiculous. My goodness. Misplacing things or losing the ability to retrace steps, placing car keys in the washer or dryer, or not being able to retrace steps to find something. Decreased or poor judgment, being a victim of a scam, not managing money well, paying less attention to hygiene, or having trouble taking care of a pet. Oh, having trouble taking care of a pet. Huh. Wasn't there a story about a dog that happens to be theirs that was biting people and they had to get rid of him, and then they brought him back and he bit someone else, and they're like trying to make it a non-story? Huh. Yeah, I do remember that. Withdrawal from work or social activities, not wanting to go to church or other activities as you usually do, not being able to follow football games or keep up with what's happening. But the last one here is changes in mood and personality, getting easily upset in common situation or being fearful or suspicious. Yes, I've known people who have Alzheimer's and they get frustrated because they can't remember like they used to. They get angry when people are telling them what it is, and they're like, I know what it is, I just can't think of it. But they're not articulating that. It's actually quite sad. I've seen and witnessed this with my own eyes. It's a sad thing. And I'm definitely getting that from this guy, from this report of him yelling at his aides, because they're probably trying to help him. And he's like, I don't need your help. I'm good. I don't need it. Now, the symptoms of dementia are very similar. Short-range memory changes, difficult finding the right words, changes in moods, apathy, which is, I think, very important. Difficult completing normal tasks, confusion, difficult following storylines, a failing sense of direction, being repetitive, yes. Struggling to adapt to change. Look, this is something that people were calling out Joe Biden for before he was president, before he even was nominated as the Democratic nominee. They were like, that guy has dementia. That guy's definitely going through something. There's something wrong with that man's brain. It was a thing long before he became president. And now that he's become president, he's yelling at his aides. He's getting frustrated and angry, tripping on stuff. Dude's been struggling, making up words. He absolutely needs a teleprompter. I would love to see him without a teleprompter. Let's see how good he does. And prove to me that there's no teleprompter. I want to see all angles. All right, let's see I want to see him live talking to Putin, because Putin called him out. He called Putin a killer. All right, Putin's like, you think I'm a killer? Let's talk. Let's talk live. Let's do a live stream conversation between you and me, because I want to hear from your mouth to my ears that you think I'm a killer, and explain yourself. And Biden, what? Are they going to do it? No way. Biden can't handle that. I want to see him in a live environment. Trump made fun of him recently. He was reading from a paper and he was like, you know what? This is boring. Threw the paper behind him. He's like, I don't need to read anything. I'm just going to talk to you. From me to you right now. Let's just talk. Because that's boring. I'm good with that. I'm done. I read the first paragraph and I'm bored. I was like, yes, let's see the president do that. I want to see the president do that. Sorry, I keep hitting the mic. Yeah. It's never going to happen. Yeah, chat gets it. It's never gonna happen. Yeah, he's probably yelling at his dogs. Exactly. Those dogs, I mean, if you know a dog, it says a lot about their owner. Yes, okay, I know that there are rescue dogs, which says a lot about their previous owner. But I mean, if you give a dog love, dogs are amazing creatures. You know, I've had many dogs in my life, and I've known a lot of rescue dogs in my life as well. My mom has rescued many dogs and that were traumatized, and they're amazing dogs afterwards. When they finally get love, they become incredible. But if you keep yelling at them, they tend to be a-holes. And that's not their fault, right? I mean, sure, sometimes it could be, but who knows? Man, anyway, all right. So it's scary to think that we could have a president that has Alzheimer's and dementia, you know, because it really feels like we do. All right, what do we do about it? What do we even do about it? The 25th? Put Kamala in charge? I don't know if that's better. Oh my gosh, I trust her even less because she believes all this ideology and knows what she's doing. She held people behind bars that she knew was innocent for cheap labor. That's ridiculous. Horrible, horrible, horrible.